You're listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Alright, everybody, welcome to Fraggin' Out, episode number 5. Big number 5. We got 5 down. This is a milestone episode for us. I want to thank everybody for, hanging on for the technical difficulties we were working through, because we're currently streaming on my Twitch channel this episode, which is a little bit different. We're doing audio only right now, just so everybody has that in mind, because I generally don't stream. I don't have a streaming bone in my body that says entertainment is for me, but when things happen with technical difficulties, you suffice and you just do what you can. So I appreciate everybody coming over, hanging out in the chat while we do this. Josh's internet just always decides to not want to work whenever we record every few episodes now. So
Comcast hates me. That's what I'm going with. Comcast hates me, and I don't know what to do about it. There's nothing else I can do because there's nothing in the area. So
Comcast
we're gonna deal with it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, bud.
Comcast hates our swagger, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they're like, hey, they're doing a really awesome thing, and we want to ruin it.
But yeah, before we get into anything else in the podcast, I just wanted to take a moment to, just talk about how I appreciate everybody coming out and checking out the podcast on any of the forums that they've been able to do that. It's had huge success on sportsradiodetroit.com. The numbers speak for itself. I just want to take a moment to thank everybody for coming out and checking out our content, because it's something that, Josh and I really love doing. I really love doing the podcast with one of my best friends. It sounds cheesy, but it's cool just to sit here and talk about games, and then actually have people come out and listen to it, and then really dig it and know that, it's going to continue to grow, and more people will be able to invest into the podcast, hopefully, and who knows what the next few months are going to bring with it. But I just wanted to say I really appreciate everybody coming out.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's just funny that people actually listen to us talk about video games and how ridiculous that we sound while we're actually talking about them. But hey, that's awesome. That's really cool. And thanks everybody. I really appreciate that. Makes me happy.
Yeah, for the squad, for the boys.
For the boys.
For the boys. All right, so yeah, Josh, what you been up to this week? You took a nice vacation on literally the coldest 3 days of the decade.
Oh, well,
you were like, hey, it's like negative 27. I'm gonna go skiing. So how was that?
If I had the cams up, you'd see how red my face is because of the freaking wind and how cold it was. But no, I went up north a little ways there, bud, and went snowboarding for a couple days. Had a good time with that. Partook in the alcohol festivities, and now my voice is almost gone, and apparently I sound like Barry White. So yeah, no, it was a good time. Had a really good time. Needed it. It was a very much needed vacation, but I'm glad to be back, and I was excited to come back and do the podcast as always. So
yeah, I mean, that's one of those things about when you take vacations, you don't realize how much you need them until you actually take the vacation. You're just like, wow, I really needed that.
Yeah, last day though, I was definitely feeling like I was ready to come home. I was like, I've had enough. I'm getting too old for this. I'm going home now.
Hashtag
you guys have fun.
Old guy problems.
Yep, that is it.
All right, well, let's get into the stuff going on. We call it Slight News. First bit of order is, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, this month is looking really good on some games. They have 2 games that are distinctly coming out that I think a lot of people would like. For Honor, which is kind of like a fighting game, I guess, basically, you could say. But it has a bunch of different factions. You can have a bunch of different things. It's a Ubisoft game that when it first came out, it kind of sucked, but they worked on it a lot, and there's a lot of good content there, and it's free. You can't complain about that. And one of the other games is The Hitman. The complete first season is also down for downloads. I highly recommend you guys give those a go. Like I said, it's free. It couldn't hurt. And, just to play some other games and different types of games, I think it would be, just be fun to play. What do you think about those 2 games?
Oh, jeez. I've really wanted to play For Honor. I never ended up, pulling the trigger to buy it. It looks like a really great game. I always thought that it looked great. I just didn't see myself just buying it full price. So now that it's this, I'm definitely going to be picking that up. Believe it or not, I've never played a Hitman game. I've never played them. I've never been into the kind of sneaking type games like Splinter Cell, stuff like that. I've never been into them. So I might check it out though, just because it's free. I might as well look into it. And I've heard good things about it. But yeah, For Honor, I'm definitely gonna be into. I'll be checking that out. Probably next week I'll be jumping on there and seeing what it's all about. It looks pretty cool. It's all that hand-to-hand combat with like different types of factions from different eras. So I can't wait for it. It looks like it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's the other game in that I think I'm probably gonna just be more interested is Hitman. I've always watched some videos of people on how they do the episodes. The Russian Badger put out a video about a year and a half ago when he got a bunch of the keys to use for the game, and just doing a bunch of random stuff. Like one of the missions, you actually get to dress up as a supermodel to blend in, and you get to walk the catwalk, and there's multiple ways that you can actually like kill different people in the mission. Like one of them, you drop like a chandelier or something on like a model, and I don't know, it just seems like silly fun. One of those games you could just play and not have to worry about. You could stealth it out, or you can kind of play it your own way, so that'd be fun. In other news, this is a little bit more exciting because there's, as a lot of you know, the Switch is doing super well right now. And
what? No.
Yeah, it's become the fastest selling Nintendo console of all time. We're just going to put that out there. And with all this, the rapid success of the Switch, they're considering releasing a Switch mini console, which I think that's kind of interesting because I think the Switch is itself, just looking at it, it's kind of a small handheld console to begin with. But I'm assuming the next iteration, if they do make a mini, would maybe be the size of a 6 or 7 inch phone. So I think that's really interesting that they're thinking about doing something like that. And then also they're considering overhauling the Nintendo Online, which I think would be a good thing. Thoughts?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm all for that because I feel like the Nintendo Online is just not. It's not where all the other online things are for like Xbox and PS4. It's just it's not there at all. But that mini I'm actually kind of interested in, more so if they drop the price a little bit. They have a smaller one. I think they'll still end up selling a crap ton of them because you're gonna have parents that wouldn't buy the Switch for their kids, and now they're like, "Mom, this thing is like $150, $100. It's smaller. Can I get it?" And they're like, "All right, it's not $300, $400 or whatever."
Yeah,
so
imagine it coming in at a price point of like $200 for the mini.
Oh yeah, it's a cash grab. But hey, where you're at right now with it, where everybody's buying them, why not? Your business. I would do it.
Yeah,
So.
I don't see a problem with them doing anything like this. I've heard a few people come up the gripes and saying that, like, there's such an anti-mobile aspect to the gaming industry right now. Like mobile games have a really bad stigma in esports to begin with, and then not to mention just in general, like games with like Clash of Clans and etc. Those games have really bad stigmas in general, like I said. And I don't know. I think if you start catering, I guess you could say, towards that market just to make money, it might put your reputation at stake. But I think Nintendo's done a really good job of managing things like this. So if anybody is going to be able to do this with success, I 1000% think it's going to be Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's going to go like that cell phone route where it was like, we're going to have the biggest phones and then we're going to have the smallest phones, and now we're at the big. I wonder if like console, hey, we've hit Nintendo Switch, it's pretty small. Now we're just going to drop it down. Now next one's going to be the size of an iPad mini, and that's going to be your screen to play it on Nintendo Switch. Just saying, that's where we're going.
Yeah,
mini consoles.
I could kind of see that going that way, or like kind of like the same way that the DS had it, where you had the two screens. Like you had the touch screen and then you had the real screen. I could see something similar to that model, maybe, where they have the dual interactive screens. But I don't know, the Switch itself, a lot of people, I guess, forget this is a touchscreen display. You can actually touch it. There's, like, when I watch YouTube, some of the controls actually don't work. You have to touchscreen to acknowledge some things. But I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting. Something we can bring up here in the slight news. And then the last bit of slight news is the Overwatch League, as you all know, getting ready for Season 2, which starts February 14th, Valentine's Day. They got a contract with the Fanatics Apparel brand, which, if you don't know, the Fanatics Apparel website is one of the largest hosting apparel sites for sports apparel in the United States and basically ships worldwide. Also, this last year they got a contract with the NHL to do their replica jerseys. So the Overwatch League getting something of this variety is kind of a big deal, especially because if you had any experience trying to buying Overwatch League like apparel this last year, it was, I'm gonna put it bluntly, it was a clusterfuck, because you had to go to a third-party website to get a customized jersey to do this and that, and the shipping was crazy awful. So I think them streamlining and getting it to a distributor where they can just mainly post it and then have worldwide shipping is a really big thing.
Oh yeah, better quality jerseys, better quality shirts, anything else like that too. So it's gonna be more pricey, but at least you're getting a really good quality, and you're getting it from an actual brand that people know and people will trust. So I think that their merch and everything else, the sales are gonna skyrocket once this gets put through and they're good to go.
Yep. All right, and then the last bit of news, which I think Josh is going to have a lot to say about this. Okay. Apparently on Monday, EA is releasing a Titanfall BR, which has no Titans in it, but it's basically BR Titanfall with the mechanics, and it's built on the Valve engine. So, yeah, that's a thing, I guess, and it's just magically coming out. I've read a little bit of the articles today about how apparently Shroud and Dr. Disrespect both have played this already and have beta tested it. So, and they've had to keep quiet about it because of NDA. So, yeah, what do you think, man?
I'm excited. I love Titan. I was actually playing Titanfall the other day just because I was like, I want to play it. I loved it. I did. There's nobody playing it anymore, but I was playing some Titanfall 2. I love the mechs. I love how it flows so much better. Like, yeah, it has like the jumping boosty kind of Call of Duty-ish type deal where you can climb on walls, but it's so much more streamlined. It flows so much better. The guns feel great. Like that game was so good. It's underrated game. It really is. They need more in it, but it's so amazing. And now that they're making like a crazy, I'm more interested in how they're going to do it. And actually, I'm a little less interested because they're not going to have the mechs in it. You're not going to have your Titans, so it's kind of like that's kind of, I was hoping for that. I was hoping you'd be able to actually like find one. There's like one or two on the map, or like a couple on the map, and then or that's how the actual like it ends, is everybody in their Titans and they go against each other, and that's how that battle royale will stop.
You get to like the bottom like 5 or 10 players, and everybody gets to call in a mech of their choice or whatever.
You get Titanfall and just like have at it. That'd be so awesome. I would be into that, but it's kind of stinks that they won't have it in there, because now I'm just feeling like it's going to be like a blackout type deal. Unless they have like unless it's more of like closed in areas, not so much like just this open wide like island, but actual like say industrial buildings, like big huge buildings, or like it's actually in an area like a smaller. I don't know. They could go any way with it. I hope they don't just like copy off everybody else and then just slap on the Titanfall title on it. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm still gonna check it out, of course. I love Titanfall.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one thing that I know a lot of people are kind of like another BR game, and at this point, my hesitancy to try it is limited because it's free, and all the cosmetics will be DLC really, or like any of the, I guess you could say, was it microtransactions? There we go. Words, Steve. The microtransaction qualities of the game are just going to be built into cosmetics only in loot boxes, I guess is what I've read. So, I mean, it's free. It might not hurt to try it. You might like it. You might have fun. And then if you get enough people to play the game, who knows, But I kind of share the same sentiment with a lot of people right now. It's just like another BR game. Like, we don't have enough of those.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's also, too. I wish they were just like, hey, Titanfall 3, and then I would be crying and laughing, and all emotions would be going through me right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, man. The original Titanfall was a hell of a game. That was the first thing that Meg and I got into for Xbox. We literally both got Xbox Ones basically because of that game. And it kind of proved to be one of those games that you had a lot of fun with, but it died really quickly because there just wasn't a lot to do yet. And that was the first iteration of the game. They were still working through kinks of things. I think Titanfall 2, I mean, it had a little bit of a following, but I don't think I didn't play it enough because all the other games I had at the time. But yeah, that's the slight news. That's what's going on. And now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast. Today we're going to be thoroughly going over Anthem and a lot of what we think so far about playing the. I played almost all of. Like I would say the VIP beta I played 12 hours of, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't have the game pre-ordered right now. I'm not gonna pre-order the game, because of my experiences that I had last weekend were pretty bad, technically. I was playing on the Xbox One because I didn't have EA Access. EA Access doesn't exist on the PS4, so I was playing it on the Xbox, and to be honest with you, I was not really impressed with a lot of what I saw. But from what I've read this weekend so far, it seems like they've made some changes. There hasn't really been any technical issues from what I've seen. A lot more people are obviously able to play the game because it's free. There is no restrictions on who can play the game. And yeah, I think that I'm really concerned about this game's longevity, if I'm just going to be honest with you, because the end game doesn't seem like it has a lot going on yet. There's only going to be 3 strongholds when the game releases. And this is part of something we'll get into later when we talk about our other topic about the gaming industry as a whole. But I think these, quote, live service games is just a loose around way for developers to not have to have a lot of things ready for their full purchase of the game. So, yeah. Give me some of your thoughts so far and what you think, man.
Okay, so I'm a little bit different with it. I heard about it. I wasn't able to. I worked actually the whole weekend for the closed VIP demo. But from what I've heard and what I've seen online was just nobody was able to get in. It was tough. There was lag, everything else like that. But from what I heard, they were going back and using like a update or a patch or whatever else that was already before. Like that they're ahead of that. They've already updated everything else. And I've seen them like with tweets saying, yeah, we already have that in the next patch. That's already done. This bug, for that demo, we have this one. We didn't give you guys more of like the finished, polished one. So I'm like, okay. And then there was a lot of people going off with the whole, oh, well, we couldn't get in and everything else. And this is, people were waiting to get into the game. It's at 95% glitch on the load screen. I'm like, well, it's a demo. It's a demo. It's take it like alpha, beta. And I mean, when the game does come out on February 22nd, if that happens, then yes, I would be like, this is worth shit. You guys had time to deal with this and figure this out and figure out the problem, why that happened in the first place. But to me, I'm like, it's a demo. Did it hurt them? Yes. Guaranteed yes. That hurt them. There was people that probably canceled pre-orders because they couldn't get in for that demo, which I think is silly. But it's a demo, it's an alpha, it's a beta, whatever you want to call it. I don't really see any difference of any of those. But they can make it up. Am I going to pre-order yet? No, I'm going to wait because I feel like I've been hurt too many times with games as of late, buying and pre-ordering and then getting them and just playing them for a week and not wanting to play them anymore. But from what I played, I was actually able to sit down today and got some time in playing it. It's beautiful. I played on PC. It's beautiful. Game's beautiful. Looks amazing. The customization of the javelins, right? Javelins. Can't even think of them. The customization's awesome. Different paint for different spots, different armors you can get. I heard about the whole microtransactions that got blown out of proportion, which it actually wasn't. It's all it is. People think it's $20, but there's like nobody said it's real proof. Like you get a few armor pieces for $20. It's like they don't have the prices anywhere, so that was like blown out of proportion. But that's all it is. Cosmetics that you pay for microtransactions. It's longevity wise, as long as they keep putting out things, which I watched a video of like an interview with the developers or whatever saying, yeah, we have these 3 strongholds, you have your different difficulties that go into it, get better gear. And I feel like it's like Warhammer Vermintide, if you ever seen that or played that, Steve. So you'll play this one area, but you'll get this certain gear at normal difficulty. You get that gear, you go up to hard. Yeah, it'll start getting repetitive, but you have those 3, and if you start beating that, by the time that you get like to like middle difficulty of those, hopefully they start putting out more strongholds. Hopefully, and they're going to have raids. They already said they can't talk about it, but they're going to have raids. So I see there's going to be end game content. It's just going to be that, I feel like it's going to be like that Destiny thing. Am I going to be able to get through this so quick that now I'm done, or is it going to be like it's going to take time to get through this and be fun to grind for gear, grind for everything, and then you're going to have more stuff for me. Like, oh, hey, next month you got these. So I like it. Am I going to play it? Yes. Pre-order, I don't know. I'm going to wait till closer to it. I need to do a little bit more research. I haven't. I've been so busy in this January that I've been actually slacking in the game news department. So I want to look more in Anthem. But I feel like I feel like it'll be a fun game. It'll take up some of my time. Like I said to you earlier before the podcast, I was like, I got a few pieces of gear, a few different guns, and a few different powers, and it had that click with Diablo where I was like, ooh, I can't wait to upgrade this. Ooh, I got a new gear. I got this. Like I was so excited because I got some new gear, and I'm like, oh, this might bring me in if it's going to be that kind of grind where I'm happy to get new gear, and it's not even that much better.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I do want to say is that, like, me not pre-ordering it, I don't think is that big of a deal, because for me, I have EA access, and I get the first 10 hours of the game I can play as a trial. So I can spend 10 full hours playing that game and then purchase the game at a discounted rate. So that's kind of still playing in my head that I'm not going to pre-order the game because I have that trial I can play, like, and the trial is a week early. I can start that trial on February 15th when the game doesn't come out until the 22nd. So I get like basically 7 whole days or 10 hours to try the game up front before I can purchase the game. And then I still get to purchase the game at a discounted rate, which is pretty cool. So I think for me personally, like, I like the foundation of what the game is trying to do, right? Once I got past the technical issues of, like, having to, like, literally, this is what I had to do, guys. I'm playing on Xbox. I would start and click a mission in the beta. It would go to 95% load. I would have to then open another game on my Xbox dashboard, close that game out, and then rejoin the session that I was playing on Anthem. So imagine having to do that for basically every menu loading. Starting out, that's definitely not going to help them out. Yeah, and to be honest with you, like you said, it definitely scared a lot of people off. Did you know EA stock went down 6% that next Monday after the beta?
That's unreal.
Yes, because consumers are starting to figure it out, and consumers are just not going to be patient with things like this anymore. And I think good for them. I'm kind of with them on a lot of fronts with that kind of stuff, because if I'm being honest with you, like, having that many technical issues, and you want a game to work when it comes out, obviously, but yes, it's a demo, it's a beta, there's some leniency, but to have it continue for basically 3 straight days, I think is a bit much. If it was the first night and they got it hammered out within a few hours, this probably wouldn't be as blown out of an issue. But I think a lot of people were already wary of the situation. A lot of people just don't want it to succeed because it's an EA product. Let's just be honest here.
That's a big part of it, I feel like. So I didn't know it went on for 3 days. I didn't know it was actually like a 3-day thing. I thought it was just a 1 day. They figured it out the first day, and then you're good. But
no, they never figured out.
What's that?
They never figured out the infinite load issue. That continued all the way to the end of the beta.
Sheesh. Yeah, like today when I played, I think they figured it out because I had no problems with that. I had no problems with matchmaking. I didn't get kicked. I had no problems with lag. Everything was actually going fairly well. I played for probably about 2 to 3 hours, and for that it was actually doing good. I feel like it's one of those, hey, we're gonna put out this alpha or beta or demo. Yeah, everybody knows that it's alpha beta demo, but if you bring it out and it's broken, that's all people are going to think about down the road when your game does come out. And that's what I think is gonna happen here. I feel like it might be it'll be like a Destiny 2, not many people jumped on at the beginning, but then they start going into it more. And then with being burnt out, like, I feel like there's been a lot of talk with that too. It's like, oh, I think it just get burnt out. I'm like, that's any game for me. Like, if I play it for a while, I'm gonna get burnt out. Streamers are gonna, crash through it fast where there's nothing left to do because they're gonna play it for 70 hours a week or 80 hours a week, so they're gonna burn out. But it happens with every game, so I don't see that as like a big thing to me.
Yeah, and part of me is thinking that, like, that's just kind of a loot grindy game. Like, I've had that sensation with Diablo this week. Like, I haven't wanted to play for a few days just because I'm just like, I need a break. I could feel it. I'm not getting the things that I want, and it's frustrating me. So I'm just like, I'm gonna have to keep doing the same activity 12 to 15 times to hopefully get the thing that I need. It's kind of like, all right, man. Like, after some points, you're just kind of like, I'd rather do something else with my time. And And that's not to say that Anthem in itself is a bad product, but I think that has a lot of things working against it now. Yes, and people in the chat are saying this, like, yeah, you were really hyped on this, and it's interesting that you're not as much. It's because the experience that I had really tainted my thought process on really diving fully into the game. I'm more than likely still gonna buy this game, but if they don't have major content update within 4 to 6 weeks of the game's release, that's troublesome. And I think they know that, and they're gonna have to really work hard on their content, because yeah, obviously there's things when you start the game, everybody starts at 0. Nobody has that availability to play the end game content yet. So like, what everybody's doing is trying to do to get to the end game content. But then when you get to the end game content, am I worried that, you know, those 3 strongholds on those varying difficulties are just going to basically turn into, wow, it's a bigger bullet sponge because it's more difficulty? Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that. And I already saw some signs of that in the VIP demo with one of the missions I had to do. I did by myself just to see, you know, how the varying difficulty would work. And then honestly, you know, I did a solo mission on normal, and it took me 15 minutes to kill something as a ranger javelin. So I didn't have anything else yet, but as soon as I got the storm javelin, my experience completely changed. I love that javelin. That's probably what I'm gonna main. I really enjoyed the playstyle, but also, you know, it's a skewed view because I was doing some of these things myself. And this game in particular, like Destiny, is meant to be played with other people because you have all the javelins working together with different sets of, you know, different sets of abilities and combos. So.
Yeah, that's what I, and that's why I'm glad though. That's the one thing that they did different than Destiny is there's matchmaking in everything that you do. It's not just like kind of going solo. It's when you go in to do any missions or anything else, or even the free roam area, you're still matchmaking with other people. And if you don't want to do it by yourself, go with those people, because like you said, all those javelins have different sets for different enemies. Like the Colossus isn't good against like one enemies because it's too quick for him, and you don't have a shield and you can't regenerate, so it's just going to pummel you. Same with the I was about to call him Warlock. The Storm. The Storm, like, he's not good if it's those turrets are set up that are down, because they'll just melt him if he's up there. So it definitely isn't a solo game. That's what I feel like almost all games are now. But I'm glad that they put matchmaking in there, so that you can jump in and just follow. You don't have to even talk to them. Just go follow people in the free roam, or for the missions or expeditions or whatever they call it. You get paired up with people if you're not already with people. So, which I think is nice, just because that's what kind of killed it with Destiny for me. I didn't have that many people to play with me, and I was bored playing a game that's supposed to be a multiplayer game by myself.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do want to stress to a lot of people, that, like, if you have a squad to play with this game is probably going to be enjoyable, because, like, as a squad, you can grind and do things together. But if you're going into this with a solo mindset, I'm going to have to tell you good luck. Just because I don't know how long this game is going to last for even people that do have a squad to play together. Who knows? You might burn through all the content and then you start doing in-game stuff. And I'm not telling people not to like this game for what it is. The main thing that I want people to understand is, like, if you don't pre-order this game and you don't want to pre-order this game, or if you're wary of this game and you don't want to invest your money into it, I think that's a good thing. As much as I want this game to succeed, because honestly, I'm at that point, I need something new to play. I've exhausted a lot of options of other games, just being honest with you. Like, I've considered maybe getting, Sea of Thieves, but even Sea of Thieves has the same problems with endgame content as Destiny, as Anthem probably will, as any grind game, Diablo, like all of these games that have this premise of loot-driven progression all meet this problem. And I think it's something that, until it gets figured out, a lot of these games, after being out X amount of time, unless they get updated with new content extensively, they're just going to die. Your population is going to die because people don't want to waste time doing the same things for minimal gains. And we've talked about this in the last podcast extensively with Destiny, that's the main reason we both stopped playing it, because it's like time spent versus reward is not a good exchange rate.
Oh, it's got awful. Yeah, I feel like it's just I feel like there's only one game that's slightly figured out, and that's WoW for endgame content. Other than that, I feel like any kind of new modern games, well, with WoW, they just keep posting stuff, putting stuff out, and then it's hard to actually get to that end point. You've got to work for it. So it is very grindy. But I feel like any other games now, any of these loot grind games, they really haven't figured out. Even the MMOs, I feel like they haven't figured out their end game. Like ESO for a while, that they had no end game when that game came out. Destiny at the beginning, their end game was like, yep, do something real quick, you're done. It's, I don't know. Nobody's able to figure out what would be the best end game and keep people around, other than grind for stuff. But then I feel like people are really getting tired of the, I'm grinding, but I'm really not, like we talked about last episode. I'm grinding, but I'm not getting anything out of this. Like I got one thing and it took me 12 hours to get this one piece of gear. That's ridiculous.
But yeah, those are some of our thoughts about Anthem, and hopefully over the next few days with the open demo going on, we're going to see a little bit more positivity. But what I've seen the last week after the VIP demo alone, I'd be honest, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly concerned about the product and what's going to happen with it. But we're kind of going to segue a little bit here into the second topic, the second major topic that we're talking about. And it's kind of like piggybacking on a lot of what we just talked about too. It's just like, I kind of have a bone to pick with the gaming industry. Let's just get started with that. Whether it's a gaming mouse being $175 because it has 3 extra buttons, or, a gaming headset claiming it has adverse audio effects and super great for gaming, and I can buy a $40 just regular audio headset that's probably better but doesn't have a mic on it. And then into relation to all the things we're talking about with gaming, So, my thoughts recently are just the gaming industry as a whole is in this weird tipping spot where you could see a lot of, companies falling off, falling apart, disintegrating because they're just not putting out good products that help consumers want to buy them. Yeah, you're always going to have that group of people that wants to buy games. They're always going to buy games. You still have people that literally pre-order Call of Duty as soon as they can every single year, and they don't budge off of that, okay? And those aren't the people that I'm talking about and referring to. I'm referring to this group of people that I consider myself in, and maybe probably Josh is in as well, that we're a lot more cautious about what we're spending our money on these days and what games we're investing in, because, as I've said, if your game is just if your game on day one doesn't work or doesn't have a lot of content, and you want me to spend a full $60, I have a hard time doing that. Even Sea of Thieves recently was on sale for 50% off, and even at that price tag, I still didn't think there was enough in there to keep me interested. That should tell you how far gaming as a whole has fallen off. And I think there's only one section of gaming right now that's doing really well, and that's, I can't get around it. It's the Nintendo games. The Nintendo Switch in the format that is, because it's mainly single-player driven games. It's RPGs, it's MMOs, it's
just fun
Mario.
Games. It's fun games you can pick up and play and put down.
Yeah, exactly.
You get your fill out of that little time that you're playing.
Yeah, so, give me some of your thoughts about this kind of stuff, man. Like tell me your frustrations and your anger. Rant it. Let it go. Let's get into it, man.
Woosa. No, I agree completely. It's, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's getting better, though. I'll start with that. I feel like it's getting better because I feel like people are starting to get smarter with it. People aren't jumping out as much, or people are expressing their opinions for these games that are coming out that are junk. Like, we've seen it. I always use ESO because I feel like that was one of the big oofs it started it all. Like, that just lit the fuse and started it with half of them. But ESO came out and people are like, this is junk, we're done. And then like, well, hold on, let's put more stuff out, and the game finally got to where it's at. Like, I feel like people are starting to kind of voice their opinions. Of course, there's people that are voicing their opinions in the wrong way. Don't do that on Twitter and go and tell developers that you're gonna murder them or something else like that. But just put it out there. Go to forums, say stuff. I feel like people are getting their voice is being heard a little bit more also nowadays. In newer games that are coming out, I feel like you got the Call of Duties. Call of Duties are just gonna do whatever they want to do because they just make money. But I feel like it's getting better, but there's still so many things that and same with peripherals. I feel like there's peripherals that are coming out. I go on to Amazon sometimes. I look at peripherals and I'm like, why would I get this? Like, rapid fire trigger for this, and this has 3 more buttons on it. The DPI is this, and you're gonna make me pay $250 for this. And let me tell you, my 6-year-old Logitech G502 is amazing. It's still amazing, and I paid $60 for it at the time, and it's a good little mouse, and I still use that. I just feel like I feel like everything is way overpriced of what it should be. Of course, I don't know specifics and specifications on what it takes to have one of these peripherals and build them, but it's these little things that they toss in it, and then all of a sudden it ends up boosting it up $100, and then they end up breaking like 6 months after you got it. I don't know. I feel like the business side is starting to really try to take advantage of the consumers. And going back to the video games, I feel like developers, not developers, let's say, I'll use EA because we were just talking about Anthem.
Publishers.
EA, publishers. We're really trying to just take advantage of the consumers and go, just put the game out so we can get money. We'll fix it later because people will buy it and pre-order it. Just don't show them the bad stuff, and then we'll figure it out later. And that's what I feel like that's been a trend for, it's been for a few years. I feel like that's been a trend. And that's why I had said I haven't pre-ordered Anthem yet. Don't mean to go back to it, but that's why I haven't, because I have that bad taste for this last 10 years and feel screwed over. So I'm going to start waiting now. Like, I don't even pre-order anything because I just wait till it comes out. People say it's good, then I'll buy it. So other than that Origin Pass or Access, I'll probably do that just for Anthem.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, you have, publishers like Xbox and Microsoft where they do the Game Pass, like the first month is $1 and you get all these games, and then after that it's $10 and you have access to all these games. And I think that's more in the favor of the consumer, at least, because at least at that point they're not spending a full $60. They're paying a service subscription fee to play as many games as they want, and then if they don't want to play the games anymore, they just cancel the service. So that way they're not losing a lot of money in the term. And right now that's pro-consumer because it's $10. It's the same price as Spotify Unlimited. It's $9.99 or whatever. But you have to think, with all the trends of the gaming that's going on right now, where, as you said, they're taking advantage of consumers. Watch those prices start to go up to $50 a month, $60 a month for to handle 20 games in a library, which I could see them easily doing and them justifying it really quickly.
Yeah, like, not even in gaming, Netflix, they're slowly, like, it's got boosted up like $1 or $2, and it's gonna just keep doing that because people are gonna be like, well, I need my Netflix, I need this. So it's just gonna get to that point. I'm just hoping, no, even more so, the reason they do that is because people do that. Because people will sit there and still buy it. They'll go, oh, well, whatever, it went up this much. Or, you know what, hey, I'll just buy it, whatever. People don't think, hey, if I don't buy this and I wait, maybe that'll help, and maybe more people and more until the point it actually would hurt them, kind of like with EA, with people canceling those pre-orders. Damn well they're like, all right, guys. To the developers, they're like, all right, guys, this game better be polished for this open beta. It better be ready on February 22nd because we just lost 6% of stock. That's how you do it. That's how you show, listen, we want a good game when it comes out. Not this half-assed crap.
Yeah, I feel like too there's that war going on, and you can kind of see it with just what happened with Activision and Bungie, right? Where like Bungie retained all the title names for Destiny, and Activision just had to take it, or maybe Activision slightly gave it up because they underperformed, and Activision as, a publisher and a company was like, that actually hurt us by having them in, our protection in our little bubble to produce the games. So you have to think there's just like two sides of this, and I feel like that's something that I've seen a lot of content creators have been talking about on YouTube. It's just like, all these publishers have to take a stand, but then if they take too hard of a stand, they get let go of. They lose that security blanket that is the publisher to help push sales and distribute their game in a mass amount. And to be honest with you, one of the biggest ones I see is Bethesda, because, yeah, Bethesda is its own entity, but it is still owned by a company above them. I forget the name. I think it's like Really Max or something like that. But they're the publisher that distributes the games for Bethesda. And Bethesda's dealing with their own mess because they're getting sued over Fallout 76 for their game not being ready on release. Their game is a substandard par game, and it was released at a full retail. So they're
actually
actively getting legally sued for that right now. That is a thing. So as long as we have that's the problem with the industry is, as a consumer, we don't have the power unless we don't buy the product. That is the only power I think that we actually have, is our wallet.
Agreed.
Everything else is hogwash, and it doesn't matter. If you truly want to hurt things, if you truly want to make them change, we have to not buy the product. Which sucks when you think about it, because we're all gamers. We want products to play. We want things to do. That's why so many of these free-to-play games, I think, are really important, because if those free-to-play games are good and they push the boundaries of all the paid games, eventually people are just not going to buy other games, because they're like, what do I need to buy this game for? I have this game that's free.
Yeah. Oh, and then also going, just because you said something about Fallout 76, I forgot about that. I actually heard that there was an inside source saying that they're probably going to be making that free to play too.
See, that's what happens when.
And wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you speak with your wallet, and people were asking for refunds, and their refund policy was garbage to begin with, and it's just like this huge rabbit hole that we could go on for hours about. I mean, I'm super passionate about this, because even just even in relation to this, I went through my YouTube that I don't really post on as much anymore, because I just kind of got out of that, right? One of the videos I made in 2013 was talking about this exact issue, about people not buying BS games just to buy them, to not pre-order games, to stop perpetuating this exact thing from happening. That was 6 years ago I was talking about that.
Oh yeah, and the topic is beating a dead horse, because it's been going on, like you just said, for 6 years. You said that, I don't know if it's ever going to change. I'm hoping that it does. I feel like it is slowly but surely moving in that direction, but who knows? It's going to be a thing for a while. People are going to talk about it for a while. I just hope that it does get better, and I hope it doesn't get worse to the point where we're paying like $80 for just regular games that are only half done.
That's even worse, because you think every time that they've reiterated a new console, the price of the game generally has increased, or the quality of the game has gotten worse with the better technology, which is absurd to me. You have all this technology advances. It's you have to think about this from like, I try to think about this from a parent perspective, right? Because I don't have any children yet, but I try to think about this like, say I had a 14-year-old Timmy, right? 14-year-old Timmy, he loves playing video games. So one day, I'm like, okay, we'll get you that gaming console. Gaming console Y is $350. It's supposed to be one of the best things that you can buy. And then you go spend money on 3 or 4 games ranging from $60-ish. You spend, let's say, $200 more. I'm sitting at $550. And he ends up playing the free-to-play game because that game is just better than all the games that I just bought for him. How salty would you friggin' be?
I'd break the console. I was already getting triggered when you were saying it. I was like, ooh, if I bought him freaking good games like Spider-Man for PS4 and he goes and plays Fortnite instead, console's gone. But in little Timmy's defense, Fortnite would be the better game. Fortnite is the game that is keeping people interested right now. And like I said, we bring up Fortnite all the time because it's just right now it's the model example. I mean, even today, what happened in Fortnite, they had a virtual Marshmallow concert that broke some world record or something. And this is a free-to-play game. Free-to-play game. Yep.
It's pushing the industry, and I'm kind of glad for games like Fortnite, because they're taking games that, all these publishers that are, I would call them comfy. They're too comfy because they know they're just going to take your money and they don't have to do shit about it. Like Bethesda, prime example of that. I mean, Bethesda, they've literally reskinned Skyrim in every device possible. They're going to have a mobile, basically, version of this soon. So that tells you they're all about the money. They don't care about the consumer because they're not trying to fix anything. They just want your money. And those are people that I don't have a problem not buying their product from anymore. But Anthem is not one of those games right now yet for me. I still want to buy that game. I'm still probably going to buy the game because if we're being honest with you, if it comes down to Anthem or to The Division, what game are you playing?
Anthem.
That's all I need to say.
Yeah. So, and how I feel too. Also, I don't want to jump. I didn't mean to. I don't back on Anthem.
No, you're okay.
But how I feel about it was, you know what? This is BioWare. BioWare just had such a terrible time with Andromeda. So much crap that, excuse my language, they can't fuck it up. Like, they can't. If they do, like, BioWare's name for being Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, amazing games. Oh my god, BioWare. Till like, hey, remember those shitty games that they came out with, Andromeda and Anthem? Yeah. What happened to BioWare? They suck. Like, they need a buckle of. I'm getting a little bit angry. You can tell. They need to buckle down. they need to get their shit together and get this game to be amazing. Which, like I said, I liked what I played today. I'm still waiting on the pre-orders, but I'm liking the loot grind just for the couple hours that I played. So yeah, I'm still gonna get it. I still have faith right now. I don't want to just put all my chips in though. Yep.
Yeah, that's just hard being the consumer that we are now, because we know the market doesn't favor us. So we either have to not buy it, or we just have to suck it up and deal with whatever we get for $60 when the game gets released, which just sucks. Being honest, it just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much most of the episode. I think we're gonna skip the esports topic for right now, just because we're already going on almost an hour of recording time. So I kind of wanted to cut that down and just kind of wind down and get out of this episode. We'll save that for the next episode, where hopefully we have the audio issues and technical issues kind of a little bit more figured out, and it'll be closer to the actual subject matter, which makes more sense. So, but yeah, outro time. Please make sure you guys are following Sports Radio Detroit. They are our podcast oversight. They host our podcast for us. We had the first 4 episodes on there, like I said earlier at the beginning of the episode. They're doing tremendously well, so I appreciate everybody that goes there. You could follow them on Twitter at SportsRadioDET, and you can visit their website at sportsradiodetroit.com. Also, make sure you're following the Gunhawk Gaming community. It's a community that Josh and I both are a part of right now. We're going through a little bit of a change with some overhaul, but the Discord server is free to get into. It's a great place to just go and meet people to game with. Shout out to everybody in chat right now. Most of them are from Gunhawk, which is awesome. You can visit their website at gunhawk.com and at Twitter at Gunhawk Gaming. Throw them a follow. Go check some of their stuff out. If you're interested, shoot out over and and we'll get you in the Discord and hook you up with some gamers who like to play a lot of different kinds of games, man. There's such a variety of gamers in there right now. We got people playing Sea of Thieves. Every BR game you can think of that's ever been in existence is probably played in some capacity. Rocket League, for sure.
You can hang out with me when I'm playing Diablo on my Switch. I mean, whatever you guys want.
Whatever you guys want to do. If you're looking for people to talk and play games with, Gunhawk, please check them out. Also, the last few episodes, Josh and I, professional podcasters, have forgot to link our social medias as well in the Fragging Out Twitter, and I'm wondering why those aren't growing. So make sure you guys follow the Fragging Out social media Twitter. It is at Fragging Out Cast. We like to post memes. We'll occasionally post a poll to try to get some interaction from you guys, post some questions, and just keep in mind, generally, if you tweeted us and if you have some good opinions, they will make their way into the show, so please do that. You can follow me on Twitter at FranchiseGFX. As I said, I like to post memes, a lot of memes as well, talk about a lot of gaming stuff, and I generally flirt with a line of PG-13, so we should be okay on most fronts. But Josh, where can they follow you at?
You can see me on Twitter at Positive Entropy. That's one word, 1E, _ at the end of it. I retweet a lot of things, a lot of memes. I talk about video games and whatnot, and yell about video games like I was today in the podcast. You can also follow me on Twitch. It's Positive Entropy, the one word, 1E, and that's at www.twitch.tv. Right now I'm just doing the podcasts. I'm taking a little back seat with the gaming. Like I said, I've been very busy in January, February, March, April. It's probably going to be the same thing. So I'm hoping to get back into gaming on Twitch in probably April, but you're definitely always going to see, as long as I have no issues with the internet, Comcast, you will see me there, and we'll have the podcast up and live streaming and talking in chat and whatnot and having a good time.
All right, guys, thanks you so much for checking out the episode today. And like I said, make sure you guys check out all of our partners, Sports Radio Detroit, Gunhawk Gaming. You can follow Josh on Twitch and Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, and hopefully in 2 weeks we'll be able to say some more positive things about gaming, because I feel like these last 2 episodes have been really negative. So hopefully the gaming news will get a little bit better. So until then,
Angry Fraggin Outcast.
Right, angry. That should be the name of it now, the Angry Fraggin Outcast. But all right, guys, have a great night, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
All right, later.
This has been an SRD production.